Hello everybody. This will be a little bit of a different type of video than I usually do. In this video I'm going to show you and talk a bit about brush maintenance. I have a couple of brushes lying right here in front of me. The middle one, this is my mixing brush, so this one really gets abused. It's an old brush in with which I used to paint. Sorry for that one. It's a size 1 Winsor & Newton. These brushes are, well, expensive. Well, I believe they are around 11 euros a piece, so they're a bit costly, but they last for a long time, and with a little bit of care they last even longer. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So first of all, I'm going to start off with showing you what in general happens to a brush, and that's why I picked this one. I'm not going to use this one to clean. I'll show that on the other two brushes in a couple of seconds. So this brush really gets abused. I've got some paint on my palette, and because it's a mixing brush, this is what happens to it, because it's used to mix colors together. Let's get a bit of this. And as you can see, let's zoom in a bit. The paint is way too far up there. There shouldn't be any paint at the end of the bristles. It should only be in the tip, actually. So I'm going to clean it with a bit of water. This is just the paint water I've been using for this evening. I'll wipe the brush off in the paper, and then this one I drag over the bottom just to get it clean. Get the water out. So basically the bristles are now clean. But what happens to brushes is this. Little bits of paint will go sit right here, and there's a bit of paint here, I'll get that off, and it will go and sit between the bristles, and that's when that happens, your brush will end up looking like this. Now this is a fairly new brush, but I can see a little bit of paint sitting right there, so I'm going to clean this one in a couple of minutes. You can still perfectly paint with this one. I'll show you, because I'm just going to dip it in the water quickly. Let's get the water so you can see it. I'll just put it in there. I'll put it on the paper and turn it around whilst dragging it over the paper. As you can see now, and there's a nice tip, and you can paint with it. It's a bit bent, but that's okay. That's not really a problem whilst painting. But this didn't clean the brush. So I'm going back to the mixing brush. I'm gonna push it on the paper towel where the metal edge is touching the paper towel. I'm gonna just turn it around, and I hope you can see it. I can. You can clearly see the amount of crap that's coming out there. And if you, I don't clean my brushes in this manner every day, but the brush, you can see how much is in there. And normally that will stay in there, and that will cause your brush to end up looking like a toothbrush, more or less. So I'm gonna put this one to the side. So now we're going to the actual cleaning part, because that's where this stuff comes in. This is the Masters brush cleaner and preserver. As you can see, it's like $6.95. It's actually cheaper than a brush, and it will make your brush it will make you be able to keep using your brush over, well, I think at least twice as long, maybe even more. So if you're talking a 9 or 10 euro brush, this is cheaper, and this pot is like a lifetime supply. I have this for 2 years now. As you can see, it has been used, I think around 2 years or maybe 3, and yeah, there's more than enough of this stuff in this little pot for, well, I think my grandchildren's grandchildren can still use this. And I paint nearly every day, so, and I think if they do that as well, yeah, there will still be left. You don't need to do this every day. You don't even need to do this every week. Just whenever you feel you need to do it. So I can't say do this on a weekly basis, or if you prefer that, you can obviously every Sunday evening or whatever clean your brushes. Now there's an instruction manual on the bottom here which says rinse your brush in warm water. Do not put these type of brushes in warm water. It's bad for them. Just you can just use your paint water, and I'll show you right now. So I'm gonna put this here. I'm sorry that I'm not really used into recording videos like this, so every now and then I need to search for the right words. I'm just gonna take some water, nothing weird, just get it in there, and now I'm going to put the brush in the soap and just swirl it in it. I'll zoom in a bit, because it doesn't look like the brush is going to be having a happy time. Just get it in there nicely like this. Get a bit more water, do it again. As you can see, there's all sorts of colors in here from previous sessions. So try to just keep the brush a little bit in the normal shape. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just gonna set this brush to the side, and I just finished a session of a painting session, so I'm gonna put it to the side, and then tomorrow I'll clean this, and the brush will actually look, well, not completely like new, but will look a lot better than it did a couple of seconds ago. I'm gonna do the, sorry for my arm, but my brush storage thingy is there. So I'm gonna do this one as well, and then tomorrow I'll get the, I've never done one of these, by the way, so I don't know, some brushes can take this, so I'm hoping this one will still be usable tomorrow. But this is a broken toad. It's a bit cheaper than a Winsor & Newton's. I just started using them, and yeah, great brushes. But the average Winsor & Newton lasts me for, let's say, 3 to 6 months. It depends a bit on the size of the brush and how much I use it. So this should be enough, and then tomorrow we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna turn the camera off, and when you're watching this I'll be back in a second, but it will be the next day. So overnight I let the soap work in on the brush, and now this is quite hard. I'm not going to push it too hard, but you can just, like a normal brush, bend the bristles. Now all you need to do now is just put it in the water and wash the soap out, make it soft again, and then you can, on a tissue, just wipe it all off, and as you can see, a lot of dirt is coming out of the brush. Doing this twice, make sure it's out there. And as you can see, the brush is nice and clean with a nice tip again. So now I'm gonna do the other one. Let's hope this will still be a brush after this. And again, you can see that quite a lot of old paint that has been hiding in there now comes out. Now, to make sure all the soap's out there, I'm going to use a little bit of brush cleaner from Vallejo. Just go through there a bit and wipe it off again. And the other brush as well. And then as a last thing, there's brush restorer, which will soften up the bristles again. And I just put it in there for a little bit. And then put the brushes to a side. And just let this work in a bit. And then in like a minute or so, I'll clean the brush. And then they should be okay again. And now they're all set for the next couple of hours of painting pleasure. So I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching and see you next time.